Winston Churchill, the wartime Prime Minister of the UK, asked to comment on the events of the Second World War as it was just beginning. That was around October. And in particular about Russia's place in this war. Churchill is said to have uttered these words that have become famous, that it is a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma. You can imagine a riddle further wrapped into a mystery, something mysterious, inside an enigma, something you can't also easily understand. That is Raila Odinga for you. Many of my viewers, subscribers, fans, friends, have asked me to talk about Raila Odinga. They wonder why I've been silent on Raila Odinga. There are many things they wanted me to talk about Raila Odinga. Today I'll choose to talk about one. But before I talk about the enigma, Raila Molo Odinga, allow me to thank Kwame. Kwame is a designer who makes clothes using fabric material from West Africa. If you think I look smart in this shirt made by Kwame, please get in touch with him. Back to Raila Odinga. Because Raila Odinga is in the quest of becoming the chairman of AUC, I will skip all the things that people want me to talk about. Because yesterday, Friday 8th of November, he launched his bid. He launched his bid in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. On Wednesday, the 13th of November, he will take part in a debate featuring the candidates whom he is running against for the AUC chair. Let me from the outset say we wish Raila Odinga the best. I do wish him the best. By the way, I'm not in his campaign team. I saw it in some newspaper somewhere. I'm not in his campaign team. Had been invited to a workshop as an expert, that's all. But I wish him the best. When a man is doing what he's doing, you don't say bad things about him. He's an African. He's even inhuman. So let's say only the good things about Raila and wish him the best. This morning, however, I wish to address the issue of a possible Raila comeback. There are many people who think Raila is not coming back. First, obviously, because of AUC. He himself has said that, well, he wants to serve Africa, but Addis Ababa is only 2 hours from here. I leave it there. There are others who say Raila has exited politics by way of his age. In 2013, I was interviewed by an international media house, and they wanted me to confirm their thinking, and the thinking of many then, that that was the last that Raila would be seen in Kenyan politics. I told them, not from me, from where I stand. So long as Raila is around, you'll see a lot of him. And indeed, there was 2017 and the 2022. There are those who think Raila's age is such that he cannot run for office again. Again, I have addressed myself to this issue. I've said there have been older men in office. The best example was a 93-year-old man recalled to come and steer Malaysia from retirement, when the man he handed power to had become rogue. Is it him who planned the power to him or something that I can't quite recall well? The the average age of industry captains in places like America would suggest Raila is not too old. The Supreme Court of America, you serve until you either disappear to your Mecca or you yourself, you resign or you become incapacitated, and not because of age. Just 3 or so days ago, the world's superpower, they prefer to call themselves the greatest nation on earth, the United States of America, elected into office Donald J. Trump at 78 years old. That would be Raila's age mate, heading the most powerful nation on earth. In the U.S. history, he's the oldest man to be elected into office. So it's not a question of age, and I doubt that you can write off Raila because of age. Let me now address myself to those who have what I consider to be the most valid reason for which Raila may not stand. And this reason is that Raila has betrayed the people of this country. That Raila has given William Samoei Ruto a helping hand when Ruto was sinking, when the country was going to get rid of a man many people think is destroying this country. That seems to be a very valid reason. So the question would be, would Raila feel ashamed, embarrassed? Would Raila feel ashamed to face the people of Kenya and ask them for their votes and for leadership? That is the question. That to me is a much more valid argument to which I want to address myself today. The truth, dear viewer, is that any human being, or let's say most of us, accused and viewed in the manner in which Raila Odinga is viewed, would think twice before offering themselves. Would think twice before offering themselves for public office. A lot has been said about Raila Odinga, from the manner in which he entered into a deal with Ruto, to the things that happened in June of this year with Gen Zs. So much has been said, so much that is negative, that it will take a Raila Odinga to come back and ask for people to elect him again as president. But I opened by saying Raila is an enigma. That's why I gave the Winston Churchill quote of a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma. That's Raila Odinga for you. So for those who think Raila may not come back, merely because so much negativity has been said about him, that will be burying himself in shame, I want to tell you to think twice. And this brings me to the man I want to address today, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, and all others around Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, of the people who think that because Raila has joined Ruto, the war is going to be between the Raila-Ruto side and the Kalonzo other people's side. I just want to prepare you for a possible Raila comeback. That Raila being who he is, and many things have been said about Raila Odinga. He's been called many names. He's many things to many people. I want to tell those who are thinking he cannot come back merely on the basis of the bad name to think twice, like I've said. Raila is a master of reinventing himself. Take it from me. Raila can come back, reinvent himself, re-engineer the game, and within a surprisingly short time, the people will forget all the bad things they've thought about Raila Odinga, and they will queue behind him. So back to Kalonzo Musyoka, and I've said this before, there is an opening as it becomes clear and clearer by the day that after the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, the people of Mount Kenya are so annoyed, they will want to do everything possible to punish William Samoei Ruto. And there can be no better way than to joining forces with other people in order to ensure that Ruto becomes a one-term president. That is a given. That is almost a fact. And save for very, very unpredictable dynamics, that is likely to obtain until 2027. So here is Kalonzo Musyoka with the backing of Mount Kenya, the populous Mount Kenya vote. Forget about Kindiki being from there. That we have explained doesn't wash. He doesn't represent Mount Kenya at all, and is not a sovereign Mount Kenya citizen. With the shenanigans going on in Western Province, the former Western Province, in the Mlembe Nation, the ground is ripe for Kalonzo Musyoka or somebody like Kalonzo Musyoka to take on William Ruto successfully in 2027. But that is as far as it may go, because then in may come Raila Odinga. That should Raila Odinga come back, and to me that is not far-fetched, should Raila Odinga come back, whether or not he wins AUC, but more so if he loses AUC seat and he comes back, all the small groupings we are calling crowds being addressed by Kalonzo, my friend Kioni, Eugene Wamalwa, and all these people, all those crowds will disappear because they will go to the honor of crowds. Because Raila Amolo Odinga is the honor of crowds. And therefore the game being played in the terrain in which Kalonzo and his people are playing is a game you cannot win against Raila Odinga. So once Raila Odinga comes back into the game, he quickly takes his space. He occupies his space, and the likes of Eugene, Kioni, Kalonzo will appear to be mere toddlers in the presence of Raila Amolo Odinga. That is the truth. And therefore, my advice, given for free, is that if the likes of Kalonzo, or anybody else for that matter, would want to have a go at the presidency with a realistic chance, they must move with the speed and the precision of an eagle, like I've said before. They must re-engineer this game. They must move the ball from the pitch where Raila is king and toss it up in the skies where Raila cannot reach. That means, in simple English, that before Raila comes back, as sure he's likely to come back, those who wish to occupy his space as opposition leader must play the game in such a way that when he comes back, he's relevant. And Raila is not going to be relevant if you play the game, you swim in the pond where Raila ni kiwiji, Simba wa mai. When the king comes back, paka anapoingia, panya wanatoroka. So my advice to Kalonzo Musyoka, make sure hamutakuwa panya na kwamba Raila kama paka atakapoingia nyinyi wote mtaingia kwenye mashimo. That's my message to you, that Raila Odinga is a master at this game. And the only way to ensure that you match or outmatch him is to change the game. You change the game by creating the sort of narratives that poison the atmosphere and the air for him so that he cannot breathe the air when he comes back. That when Raila Odinga comes back, as indeed I suspect he will come back, you must have re-engineered the game. You must have created the sort of narratives that completely make it very difficult for Raila Odinga to play in the game anymore. Similar to a situation that would obtain if those who played in the Gosek, the KFF of those days, the 1950s and 60s, where the best players were those who hit the ball until it got lost, until boys were sent to go and look for the ball, up in the air, before the ball was taken on the carpet, on the ground. So for Kalonzo Musyoka, if Raila's ball were in the air, and they would shoot until people go and look for the ball in the maize plantations, like I saw when I was a kid, then you need to put the ball down on the ground, on the carpet. That way, he will not match the game. Unfortunately, I do not see signs of that. And therefore, we have not seen the last of Raila Odinga. And I'll finish by saying, Raila will come back as king unless the game being played by Kalonzo Musyoka and his friends and companions is significantly changed.